if you are trying to do everything at once, new skills, new projects, new hobbies, this might actually be the ADHD symptom that nobody told you about. Let's go. Me as a psychologist, as a person who's done a lot of diagnosis, ADHD diagnosis in particular, I see this one crucial thing that tells me this person is likely to have some form of ADHD, and it's a great overall indicator that the diagnosis, even after this one symptom, may be correct. Of course, I'm simplifying the thinking process as much as possible for the sake of the video, but with that being said, let's get to that. And that symptom, believe it or not, would actually be ambition, because there is nothing wrong with ambition itself, of course. But if I see the person who's coming to me for the diagnosis, seeing that he or she cannot concentrate on things, I'm asking specifically, what are you doing? And I hear tons of things this person is doing: learning a language, working 2 jobs, doing all of the sports, taking care of the relationship, having multiple hobbies while not really fulfilling any of that stuff. And that makes me wonder, why is that exactly? Maybe because this person is just in the need of constant stimulation, and the ambition is somewhat a constructive way of fulfilling that. And as I said in the beginning of the video, and I'm gonna say now, there is nothing wrong with the ambition itself, but sometimes it can be a great indicator of a person who has an ADHD, because usually behind this chaos, or sometimes behind this chaos, there also comes this need to achieve everything at once. Everything has to be done. Everything has to be done immediately. The priorities are always top one. The needs to be fulfilled are always there. There's always something to look for. There's always something to do. There is always something more and more and more. And as a result, you as a person are simply not capable of doing all of this at once, because we are all limited with our cognitive capabilities. And as a result, we are failing in this miserably, which is causing another problems. And this is the thing worth considering, the reason and the structure behind this ambition, because that alone, the more you break it down, the more you realize the background behind it, the more you realize the things that are going on in the process, the things that me as a person who's doing the diagnosis, I'm looking for. And of course, this process is way more complicated than that, but the more I explore in certain individuals their idea of ambition, the more I see the patterns that are confirming the diagnosis of ADHD. They are doing everything the last possible moment. They are always catching up, and they gotta do more. They gotta do more. There's always gotta be something. I got already 10 activities. I gotta get 11th and 12th. As a result, I'm failing this. I'm getting late. But it's probably because I'm doing too much. But hey, maybe you are doing too much because the ADHD is kind of driving you. Maybe. That can be one of the answers. Rarely is it the only answer. There are many answers to the things that are going on in our minds and that are resulting in our functioning the way we are functioning. But of course, these things are extremely important to consider. And with that being said, I would like to emphasize again, there is nothing wrong with ambition, but sometimes if you are overdriven all the time, if there is some apparent problem with your organizational skills, with you always being late, always having chaos, always having multiple thoughts at once, always switching your thoughts, maybe there can be some indicator this is ADHD. Of course, that is far from the only solution to this thing there is, but it can be one of them. So if you have any questions or suggestions or any questions about ADHD, psychology, life, whatever, I'll be glad to respond to my most capabilities. Hope you are doing all well. Until next time, and peace.